Today we're talking about Magic the Gathering rules we got horribly wrong when we were noobs. When we started playing the game, maybe you were like 13 years old back in the day when we were kids and teenagers and we were just getting excited about this new card game, and we all had our own bizarre different interpretations of the rules, because certainly back then there wasn't as much internet as there was, like, I started playing back in the year 2000, and boy, can I tell you, the internet was of very little use to us. Once in a while, you'd go to a tournament with a judge and they'd help you out. So, I can say personally, I didn't really know how the stack worked. I think this is I think this is a big one. Yeah, hold on. Mr. Deadhead says, like, first in, last out. I didn't understand that concept. Apparently, when I was younger, I was playing the game properly, but I didn't know why. I understood the concept. If you do something, I can do something in response. And before my response resolves, you could do something in response to negate what my first response. And because of that, I did not understand at all damage on the stack, because I never understood that anything even went on the stack in the first place. But I did use damage on the stack. So if anyone doesn't know what damage on the stack is, it's an old rule where if creatures would exchange damage, they wouldn't die instantly. The damage would be temporarily there on the stack. And then before the creature died, you could try to heal it. You could give regeneration. You could sacrifice the creature. It was like any other spell or ability that goes on the stack. And the damage went on the stack. And it was too complicated, so Wizards scrapped the whole thing. We don't need damage on the stack anymore. It makes the game more clean and less surprising to the newer players. But I didn't know how it worked, because I didn't seem to understand the concept of the stack. So all I knew, this is how I used damage on the stack. When you went to the damage stat back then, you just said damage on the stack, and then all of a sudden you could play spells and abilities and make use of your creature before it died. That's all I knew. You had to say the magical words damage on the stack. I had no idea why you had to say this. And then boom. You could, like, regenerate stuff. You could, save it. You could bounce it to your hand. Just magically say damage on the stack. So that's what I was using it, but maybe I didn't know why. PM loves. I gotta love that topic. Number one has to be damage on the stack. For most people. Well, the thing is, like, when you're new to the game and you barely even understand the concept of the stack, this damage on the stack thing seems very, very weird. You dealt lethal damage to my creature. Shouldn't it just be dead? Shouldn't it die? Like, yeah, that's an intuitive thing. It's funny, I take lethal damage. It's like I've been shot and killed. But I can be revived in response to that on the stack. Or I guess, like, it's a... Do you know what? Someone did explain this to me. It's like the punch is being thrown, but it hasn't been hit yet. That's how they explained it. So, like, someone's fist is coming across to do that 5 damage, and before it actually does the damage, you can respond with some sort of protection effect or something like that. PM says, I thought you actually had to stack the card physically for the stack, but when I started, the word wasn't used at all. Oh, you mean like put a card on top of the card? I mean, we sort of do that on our side of the table. That would make some sense that the cards need to be stacked on top of each other just to see how the stack is ordered. Back then, there were bigger stacks than there are today. I guess we just understand, we can keep track of the thing very easily. James Vaca, double strike without trample can deal damage to an opponent on the second hit. Oh ho ho! Double strike without trample. Yeah, whoa. Wait a minute. Double strike without trample. Oh, I get it. Yes. So the deal is, if you had to, what's a good double strike creature? What is a classic double strike creature that we all know about? You can't believe what comes up if I look up double strike. This is what comes up if I look up double strike. Got all these nerf things. Double strike MTG. Oh, I didn't know I had to be so specific, Google. Teamer Battle Rage, not a good example. Here we go. Two-headed Hellhound. Let's go to the two-headed Hellhound. Two-headed Hellhound. Two-headed. Do I not know how to spell headhound? Oh, sorry, it's the two-headed Cerebus, but it's a hound. Double strike. Now, the deal is, if you block it does deal damage twice, first in the first strike damage step, and then in the regular damage step. It's true, but just because it will kill the first creature that it blocked doesn't mean it gets to deal damage directly to the player. If it gets blocked, it deals no damage. But I totally understand. I totally get that if you kill the creature in the first strike damage step, it feels like it should deal damage to the opponent after that. After all, the first strike killed the creature. The second strike has nothing in its way. Am I not wrong? It would feel more intuitive if it played that way, although, you know, that's not how it works. If you block a double strike creature, the whole thing is blocked. The whole thing. It also, how old were you when you found out, what was it? First strike and Deathtouch, is it? Is that the interaction? First strike and what's a Deathtouch creature? Was it? Let's look up a Viper. Every Viper has Deathtouch. Flash and Deathtouch. I believe it's first strike. If you give this thing first strike, it will, because all you have to do is deal 1 point of damage, and a Deathtouch creature will kill that creature. But the thing is, apparently, you deal 1 damage one at a time. So if you have if you assign say 2 creatures in front of the Ambush Viper, even though they both have 8 toughness, the first strike will deal or is it Trample? No, it's a Trample and Deathtouch. Okay, we give it Trample. I'm not right. Yeah, I'm still getting these things wrong, even when I'm this old. So it's Trample. So if you assign a single point of damage with your Deathtouch creature, the creature will instantly die, and then the rest of the damage pours over to the next creature. But it only needs, again, a single point of damage. I definitely got blown out super hard by this, because I chain blocked 5 or 6 creatures into a trampling Deathtouch creature, and I lost all of them. I lost it all. It was all gone. Man, Deathtouch your face. Oh, ho, ho! Player dies immediately to death. If the creature dies, why wouldn't you die? After all, the creature only needs to take a 1 point of damage. Ambush Viper is broken. Flash at end of turn with Deathtouch. Okay, I attack and kill you. Alright, that's a good game. Wow, that card is broken. Flash and Deathtouch. Yeah, Deathtouch and Trample deals only 1 damage and it'll kill them. Oh, we got Kyle Driver here with a super chat. I once gained nearly 30 life in 1 turn in a commander game with Camball. Because the 2 blue players kept countering each other. So whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So what goes wrong here? I once gained nearly 30 life in 1 turn in a commander game with Camball because the 2 blue players. Oh, I get it. You have a big janky and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yeah, everything's working as planned here. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. It's working as intended. Okay, Ryan, 1 rule we got wrong for 8 years. When a player with O-Ring gets knocked out in Commander, the player's permanent does not come back. Really? I didn't know this. Oblivion Ring. That is not intuitive to me at all. So apparently, when a player with O-Ring gets knocked out, that player's oh, wait a minute. Okay, what is the right ruling? The player's permanent comes back or it doesn't come back? I actually don't know. Because I know in Commander, if someone dies, let's say I own Oblivion Ring and I die, then my Oblivion Ring disappears off. It should be gone. Now, what I don't know is what happens underneath that Oblivion Ring. When Oblivion Ring enters the battlefield, you just exile target non-land permanent, and when it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. That is a crazy interaction. It doesn't. Why not? Why wouldn't it come back? So basically, for years, you're letting it come back. That is very intuitive to me. That is very, very intuitive to me. Phage the Untouchable has player Deathtouch. Shout out to Phage. Phage the Untouchable. Whenever, yeah, when Phage deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. Can't be regenerated. But if it deals damage to a player, that player loses the game. But at least you have the real cost of 7 mana to do that. Well, anyway, I learned a little something from Oblivion Ring. Probably my play group is still making these mistakes. We've got Gunblade Knight, Trample plus damage, Prevention, Cho Mano, or Trample plus damage doubling. Trample plus damage prevention. Let's look at Cho Mano. Is that a card? Just tell me that's a card. Cho Mano. And we also have Cho Mano's Blessing. Okay, so what is Cho Mano? Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Cho Mano Revolutionary. Trample plus damage prevention. Or trample plus damage doubling. I need a little bit more context here. I don't really understand. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Cho Mano Revolutionary. Oh, I see. So actually now I don't understand. So would Cho Mano then prevent 100% of trample damage? Or is the rule that you can trample over? See, intuitively, I would think I can trample over Cho Mano, but now it looks like maybe I can't, based on based on all the knowledge I know now, the power that I have. Oh, he cannot prevent all the damage. Trample needs to be dealt enough damage to kill, but you can't deal enough damage to kill. Kill with trample. Same issue as trample versus protection. Well, I don't actually know. I never use protection spells whatsoever. But the mistake is he prevents it all. Aha. Only need to assign lethal damage. Well, I don't get it. Okay, so so the rule is only prevents 2 damage. I thought it blocked all, but you only assign enough to be lethal. Got it. See, that's normally, that's how I assumed that it would happen. So you are preventing all the damage. Okay, and everyone has a trampler, right? All right, block it. Prevent all the damage. Kyle Driver again with the super chat. We were talking about the stack, only reason I brought it up. All right, thank you very much. Oh, I see. The stack about the how much life you were gaining from Kambal. But we're only talking about the stack because we didn't understand how it worked. Okay, we got Radiant Realms. When I was 7, I started playing. We knew nothing. We thought Dark Ritual as type of mana source was a permanent. You could tap for. Oh my god! You put Dark Ritual in play. So you would play Dark Ritual and just put that on the battlefield, and it's your black Lotus. It's your black Lotus. That is an insane rule to screw up. No, and everyone's like, no wonder this card is... Actually, it's not banned in very many places. It's actually legal wherever it's allowed. Everyone gets to play with their Dark Ritual. That's insane. Dark Ritual. All right, it's on the battlefield. All right, tap this thing for triple black. Get it every single turn. Imagine playing chaining multiple Dark Rituals. After that, why would you play any other color? This is ridiculous. And to be fair, it is a slightly worse Black Lotus if you played it like that. Because Black Lotus, no, Black Lotus is not better. Gets any color, but you have to sacrifice it. This would be a repeatable source of mana. Wow, that thing is disgusting. Yes, and regen with regeneration and Deathtouch. What about regeneration and Deathtouch? You guys got to give me some context how you got things wrong. You can't just throw out random things. Well, we got Deathtouch wrong. Well, we want the how do you use it? Just like the Dark Ritual thing. Apparently you use Dark Ritual as a mana source. It's crazy. There we go. Andrew Keck. I thought Deathtouch killed Planeswalkers. Now your Ambush Viper could get it. Whoops. Where's Jace the Mind Sculptor? Jace the Mind Sculptor. There we go. It would make sense, wouldn't it? I mean, the Deathtouch creature kills creatures for any points of damage. What would a human being be any different? Why would a Planeswalker be more resistant to Deathtouch? Is there anything in the lore that says that would be true? I wouldn't think so. All right, we have some housekeeping, people. You know that housekeeping. You guys, I heard you guys love sponsors. Who doesn't like sponsors? Keeps the lights on around here. FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store. Apparently, the deal of the week, you probably still have 1 day to pick up Urza block singles for 15% off. There's some big singles out there, people. That's Grim Monolith. That's Show and Tell. That's a Metal Worker. And you can get it for 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu, though, for an additional 5% off all your purchases. And it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. I'm going to MagicCon Philadelphia, and the main event there is Pioneer. And you know what I got to use? I need to use them Pioneer cards. And I am playtesting decks, and you know what I'm playtesting with? Mana Traders, because this allows me to playtest the decks without actually buying into them. Save me some money. I can play more decks, although I'm probably just going to end up playing with some variation of spirits. And you can also play test Pioneer by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_WS2. And now back to the crazy rulings that we got horribly wrong. We got another super chat, actually. We have the Gundam. We got a Gundam Knight. I play against new players, and a lot think Land War means you can put a forest into play. Holy crap. What is that? Like an arboreal grazer every turn? It says add a green, and that would make sense, wouldn't it? Like back in the day, it said like add a green to your mana pool. These days, it just says add the forest. All right, so and you know what a forest looks like. There it is. There it is. Put one of those into play. I'm going to tap, and we're going to put the forest into play. That's broken. It's absolutely ridiculous. LGR, when I first saw the grab a card from outside the game text, I thought you could grab your binder and just pick everything. Same with me, LGR. Same with me. I think the first cards I ever saw like this was what? Cunning Wish? When I first saw these cards, I just assumed you could just take anything. After all, it said from outside the game. Was it ever like that? Or did they change the rules? Or was it always from your sideboard? I don't remember, because I never actually played these cards at the time, even though I played Magic the Gathering at the time. I thought that's, but it was like, I mean, what else is outside the game? Maybe I could just buy a new card from the store and then play it immediately. That would honestly make way more sense. But also broken. Basically, you have how many cards are in Magic the Gathering? Your deck is as big as like the number of cards that there are in Magic. That is beyond. Oh, we have so many super chats. Kurabo, as a kid of my play group back in school, thought every effect that said "you do something" was addressed to every player. Oh, like what? Every effect that said "you do something" was addressed to every oh, I see. Like so when you say it phonetically out loud, it means you as in everybody. You hear that? You. What is a good example of this, though? If you have any. Well, if you have one and I see it, we'll get back to it. I know what you mean. I just can't think of a good card that exemplifies this topic. We've got Gregory. Not letting any trample damage go through with Palace Guard. Enchant with Indestructible. No damage is lethal, therefore no... Yeah, same thing with the, that last commander. We got the Palace Guard. White, 2 generic for a 1/2. Palace Guard can block any... Oh my god, so you basically thought you could block everything. So you can block any number of creatures, prevent all the damage, nothing's getting through. Basically, you had an infinite prevent creature damage combo. Including the There's always a Trampler. There's always somebody playing the Trample deck. When we're noobs, everyone has mono green. Most people start with mono green. That's actually a good poll. What did everybody start with when they started playing Magic the Gathering? We've got Levy here. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves and tap to play another... Well, you... Oh, you didn't understand Summoning Sickness. So let's get back to Llanowar Elves. That's right. So some people might assume that you can't attack on the first turn because of Summoning Sickness, but you can still activate the abilities because that you're not attacking. So why couldn't you activate? Not everybody would know that. It's not like it's written on the card or anything like that. You people, I think as a noob card, Llanowar Elves is broken. It's one of the more broken cards in Magic the Gathering, and it's in all those introductory sets, and they've reprinted it a million times. And it's such a misplayed card. Approaching Calamity. My friend ran a landfall deck back in Zendikar. We thought the lands from the top ability of Oracle of Moldiah overrode the number of lands in play. Oracle of Moldiah. Okay, so this card is, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play lands from the top of your library. We thought the lands from the top ability on Oracle of Moldiah overrode the number of lands in play. But you are allowed to play an additional land on each of your turns. I don't see how you played it wrong. I think you played it right. Overrode the number of land. It does it not? Am I not mistaking this? Or did you think it didn't? And it doesn't count as a land play? So you thought the top of your library equals play any... Oh! Wait, you could play on your opponent's turn? Well, that's pretty ridiculous. You may play additional lands on each of your turns. He played all the lands from the top... Oh! You may play... Oh, just additional lands on each of your turns. So you can just constantly play lands off the top of your deck. So you have 10 lands on top of your deck. You just put all the lands in play. Yeah. That's broken. That's absolutely broken. That's crazy. That's a crazy broken card. It's crazy broken interpretation. Alright, we got Sophic Sensei. It's not a rule, but the whole rulebook goes wrong in one of Magic starter decks. There was a demo game instructions asking you to split the deck in two and put cards in specific order to explain the rules. Oh god. And so what, you just assumed that this is how like a normal game of Magic worked? Yeah, you gotta split the deck in two and then you gotta order the cards like this. That's how it's done. No wonder people are stacking their decks when they like get into the game. No wonder. Gregory with the super chat. I started with mono green in 7th edition with Thorn Elemental. Common noob card. We got the Thorn Elemental here, green, 5 generic. You may have Thorn Elemental assigned its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Alright, so that's like Trample, but it's not. I thought you can just choose to have the damage also hit opponent as well as the blocking creature. Oh, you want a double dip with the Thorn Elemental? So you deal the you may have... I could see how it works like that. You may have Thorn Elemental assigned its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Because, like, well, okay, so I blocked, I dealt 7 damage to your creature. But I'm also allowed to assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So I'll kill your creature and hit you for 7. I could totally see that happening. We got Jules! Double damage and trample. If a 5/5 blocks a 10/10 with trample, and double damage. It doubles the assigned lethal damage, meaning 10 goes to the player. Double damage. What is double damage? Double damage and trample. Is that a real term? Double damage. You mean double strike? I don't know what double damage is. What is that you mean? This feels like something that was made up. I need some double damage and trample. If a 5/5 blocks a 10/10 with trample and double damage, it deals the assigned lethal damage, meaning 10 goes to the player. It would make, I mean, if it's, hold on, no. If it's double strike, 15 would go to the player, would it not? Because it deals 10 damage and deals another 10. Oh, Derek, thank you so much for becoming a member. No, I mean replacement effects of double damage from Inquisitor's Flail. Inquisitor's Flail. Inquisitor's Flail. Oh, you got Inquisitor's Flail. If equipped creature would deal combat damage, it deals double that damage instead. If another creature would deal combat damage to equipped creature, it deals double. Oh, there actually is an effect with double damage. So hold on. It's not supposed to deal this much damage? I would imagine the 5/5. So if a 5/5 blocks a 10/10 with trample and double damage, it doubles the assigned lethal damage. It deals double that damage. Wouldn't it deal 15 to the player? How would that work? If a 10/10 with double damage, it deals double that damage instead. So it's like a 20/20 effectively, right? Or no? I have no idea what the interaction here is. I mean, this is new to me. I would be making mistakes like this even by today's standards. Yeah, I think 15 gets through. I think, but I don't know for sure. I will assume you got it wrong at the time. We'll just put it that way. I don't know what the real ruling is, though. Okay, we got Rise Stearns. I used to think mana sources go on the stack and you could silence in response and force them to mana burn. That is a great point. Let's look at silence. Actually, I think that is something a lot of people think. Because, like, Llanowar Elves, you can oh, no, you can't respond to that. Was there a time you could respond to the activation of a Llanowar Elves? I don't remember. There are, of course, there's things like Deathrite Shaman, which is like a mana source that you can interact with. But I am pretty sure that even my play group got this wrong as well. If you tap if you tap for mana, you had the opportunity to respond to it. Particularly mana dorks. Everyone played with mana dorks. By today's standards, you absolutely cannot tap like a Llanowar Elves, and you could just deafening silence and make them mana burn themselves. Great one. Also pretty crazy. What else do we got here? We've got... Okay, Kalantara's best example I ever heard was that if you got burned out by a Disintegrate... Let's look at the Disintegrate. You want a revised edition? Yeah, we can go look at revised. You had to quit playing Magic forever and give away your collection. What? I should have read the rest of this. I thought you were serious. Oh, I see. So if you got killed by a Disintegrate, which is a red and an X, deals X damage to one target. If target dies this turn, it is removed from the game entirely and cannot be regenerated. Oh, so basically, if you get killed by a Disintegrate, you quit. You gotta pack up your bags and leave, because that's the end of your career. Disintegrate is gonna end this player's career. We've got Ragnarok. Mana abilities not using the stack is a weird rules thing they've never fixed. Mana abilities not using the stack. But that's the point. They don't want you to be able to respond to tapping a forest or anything like that. I mean, basically, you know, if it's a mana source, it's a mana source. If it's a mana source on the battlefield, that is. You know, Dark Ritual is not something you can just immediately put on the stack. That don't work. That does not work. And also, thank you very much for the super chat. We got Derek Stewart. Attacks first turn if able, was immune from summoning sickness, and lands that come into play tapped come, and I activate the ability. It just comes in and gives mana. Okay, so whoa, let's slow down for it. So attacks first turn if able. So you're telling me if you've got like Lana or Elf. If you got the Lana or Elf, you're allowed to attack with it on the very first turn. So only the first turn. This is a very interesting home, like sort of like a home rule. And then the next one is, and lands that come into play tapped come and I activate the ability. Lands just come in and give mana. So like what you like quick, it comes into play tap, but you like quickly activate it to like get like a mana or activate its ability before it comes into play tapped. Like it forces you to use it immediately. That's how I'm interpreting this. That you're using it anyway, even though it comes into play tapped. It's like it comes into play untapped and you can use it immediately before the tap thing goes on the stack. It's the way I'm looking at this. So like, what's it called? Teetering Peaks. So it enters the battlefield tap, but I'm assuming the way you do it, you can also, it comes into play untapped, you tap it immediately and it comes into play tapped. It almost makes sense actually, because when it enters the battlefield, it's like, it's almost like this goes on the stack, right? So it lands that are supposed to come into play tapped. It's like you can, it comes into play untapped. The tapping thing goes on the stack. Well, in response to the tapping part, I just tap my land for mana or whatever I want to use. Just prevents you from using the mana on your opponent's turn. In response to that disintegrate thing, yeah, exile target player. Twisted Mind Studio, Crows and Grip is also pretty insane too, and can put in work when dealing with a tough opponent indeed. Crows in Grip. In what way? Like confusing people? Split second, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So as long as it's on the stack, players can't play spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. But can I respond to this? No, you can't as split second. So what, like people still thought you could respond to split second effects? I think he meant the manlet. Oh yeah, the manlet. Oh, each attack, I think he means attack each turn if able. Well, let's go back to this one. Attacks first turn if able. Was immune from summoning sickness, and lands that come to play tapped come and I activate the ability. Oh, you're talking about, oh, so like something like a treetop village could attack on the very turn that comes into play? Treetop village. That makes sense to me as well. Or, you know, like, I can see a noob misunderstanding how this card works. So like a lands don't have summoning sickness. You can tap them for mana immediately. So you, in theory, should be able to attack with your creature lands. Although almost all of them come into play tapped. So I'm assuming you are able to like, what, quickly activate and attack with it immediately? Anyway, moving on. Pedgeman, you can have trigger abilities activate in response to split second though. Yes. So if anything triggers, it still goes on the stack. It's true. That's when the stack gets activated again, weirdly enough. Something has to trigger and then players, oh no, I don't even, well, let's go back to a split second card. Even though something triggers and goes on the stack. I'm back here. Crows and Grip. Okay, as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Okay, so the what ends up happening is something could trigger and go on the stack, but no one can play it. No one can put anything on the stack after that. Clarinet Guy. A lot of people thought Master of Waves could evolve Cloudfin Raptor like 10 times. Because they didn't know how the intervening if clause worked. You know what? I totally get that. Cloudfin Cloudfin Raptor. Okay, so Cloudfin Raptor is this mutant for 1 blue, a 0/1 flying creature with Evolve. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. But then there's this weird card called a Master of Waves. One of my favorite cards in Magic, by the way. When it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/0 blue elemental creature tokens equal to your devotion to blue. And Master of Waves also gives the creatures +1/+1, so they're effectively 2/1 creatures. And what you could do, like with Master of Waves, you could have like 10 devotion to blue, so you could put 10 creatures into play. But Cloudfin Raptor is supposed to check after each trigger resolves if Cloudfin Raptor is allowed to grow. So the first 2/1 creature makes it a 1/2. Then the next 2/1 creature makes it a 2/3. Then after that, it shouldn't buff it up anymore. But I could totally see someone interpreting the rules, well, every 2/1 was bigger than the original 0/1, so keep leveling it up to like a 10 power creature. That's pretty broken too. Did it kill my music? Oh, it did kill my music. Hold on. Yeah, we got the music back. The music is back. Thank you very much. Yvonne, I remember my friend using Dark Ritual, Misery Charm, and Bond of Agony paying 18 life. He said, X from casting cost is paying life. Me noob days accepting my fate. So, whoa. What happened here? Broken combos that don't work. That's probably another video that we should do. Broken combos that ended up that don't actually work. Okay, so Dark Ritual into Misery Charm and Bond of Agony. Bond of Agony. So Bond of Agony says, as an additional cost to play Bond of Agony, pay X life. Each other player loses X life. That makes sense. Choose one. Oh, okay, hold on. Choose one. Destroy target cleric. Return target cleric from your graveyard to your hand, or target opponent loses 2 life. Oh, I see. So what they do is they go Bond of Agony for 1 black, pay 19 life, effectively. Oh, Dark Ritual for a few extra mana, also pay for the Misery Charm. That's broken. As additional cost, as an additional cost. But I totally get that. They just think the X is like the X life, but you also have to pay the X mana. Each other player loses X life. That's crazy. Okay, 1 black, pay 19 life. Basically channel Fireball you. That is a crazy broken combo. We've got... I can't read your name, but you know it. Thank you very much for the super chat. You can cycle Nimble Obstructionist to counter Split Second spell. I think that's right. Nimble Obstructionist. Nimble Hold on, wait a minute. Let's go back to Crows and Grip. Nimble Obstructionist. So Nimble Obstructionist says, when you cycle Nimble Obstructionist, counter target activated or triggered ability you don't control. It is an ability. So what does Crows and Grip say again? I'm not trying to counter Crows and Grip, I just know it has Split Second on it. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Cycle is an activated ability. Or that was the mistake you made. You thought you could counter it because you're not actually casting a spell. But cycling is an activated ability. So yes, that is where you went wrong. We've got... am I missing any other super chats? You guys have a lot of stuff here. Okay, so the Stickbug 42. One time my friend cast a Peer into the Abyss at 1 life. Peer into the Abyss. Which says black for generic. A target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. Draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Okay. So they cast at 1 life because we thought that the card made them lose half their life rounded up, and we interpreted the round up as they would lose 0 for some reason. Oh, so they would always go to 1, lose half their life. But rounding up, hold on, half. What is the correct? I don't know what it is. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. Half of 1 is 0.5, and rounding up it does go to 1. But what is the actual? Because we thought that the card made them lose half their life rounded up. And we interpreted the roundup as they would lose 0 for some reason. Okay, so yeah, 0.5 is rounded up to 1. You lose half, round up means you lose 1 life. Oh, that's right. And then you die. So what, you let them live or you know? How did this now I'm trying to figure out how did you get this thing wrong? Rounded up, and we interpreted the roundup as they would lose 0. Okay, whatever. I see. So you just misinterpreted the card for one reason or another. Gotcha. Okay, we got Levy. Oh, we didn't know that XX, aka Chalice of the Void, needs to pay the same mana twice. Oh, I thought you could just use 10 mana and counter all 10... What? All 10 mana spells, when really we would need 20 mana to use that card. Chalice of the Void. Yeah, that's the whole point of the XX. They got the XX here. Just wait until they come up with the XXX. The triple X. And have some, there'll be some neat altars for the moment they make a triple X spell. Maybe that already exists, for all they know. Dick, a hammer, but you got, damn it! You almost may, I don't know how much of that last I said that, but whatever, Dick. Okay, this live stream reminds me that MTG is actually the most complicated game in the face of the planet. Imagine if football had Team the Flies. XXX already exists. Astral Cornucopia. No, we've got the XXX, triple X rated. Crackle with powers, XXX. Okay, what else do we got here? We got Razagor. I played Pact of Negation with 4 mana during my upkeep. I thought I could play my 5th land before the cost requirement. Oh, God. Pact of Negation. So basically, you didn't know where your upkeep was. It's like, I promise I'll pay the mana. Oh, you have to pay 5 mana for this. I promise I'll pay. I just have the land in my hand. Let me put it into play and pay. You see? Okay, I paid the 5 mana. Told you I'd owe him. Yeah, this damn Dick guy got me again. Okay, we got Zeagle, Time Walk. It's an early version. Said target player loses next turn. Garfield meant lose as in skip, but many players misunderstood as opponent loses the game in 1 turn. Time Walk. Oh, and that was... Take an extra turn. Oh, hold on. That was before the game... That was before it went printed, right? In its early version, target player loses next turn. Yeah, but that didn't actually come to print. But it was, I guess, a rule that was misunderstood in the earlier days of the game. By the way, guys, if I didn't get to your comment, you can repost it again. That's fair game around here. And it's good for the algorithm if you post it again. It's just I'm flooded in chat by with so many comments. We got GWJ. I was surprised when I blocked the double strike creature with 1 creature trying to jump block, and only to get told I take damage to the face on the 2nd hit. No, yeah, but that doesn't actually happen. Yeah, we talked about this one. You got and only to get told I take damage to the face on the 2nd hit. But you actually don't take any damage whatsoever. The untrained ear, Shroud. Where's a good Shroud creature? These days it's all hexproof. I don't know a single Shroud creature. Slasher? Was it something Lasher? Something Lasher. Sky Lasher. Oh no, it doesn't have Shroud. Damn it. Okay, whatever. Shroud creature. Shroud, but so long ago it wasn't a keyword yet. Creatures versus Diabolic Edict. We were young and stupid. Ah, Diabolic Edict. That's the whole point of this thing hitting players. So, target player sacrifices a creature. Can't sacrifice. I got Shroud. Oh, Nimble Mongoose is a great one. Nimble Got the whole hive mind of the coffee crew here. I see I need to drink more coffee. So this is like the quintessential Shroud creature. And it's modern legal! Green 1 generic. Sorry, green 1/1 Shroud. Can't hit me with my your Diabolic Edict because I got Shroud. Can't get rid of it with anything. Night Dude. You can unmorph a creature, Void Mage Apprentice. In response to Crow's and Grip if you wanted to counter it. Ah, yes, another activated ability. It's like split. It's like no one read the split second cards. It literally says you can't activate. I guess not everyone looks at these like activated abilities. No one sees it that way. Twisted Media Studios. Honestly, I think Shroud is more powerful than Hexproof, merely for the fact that the amount of cards that can interact with a Shroud card is very low. Maybe I'm wrong though. Is more powerful. Well, no, Hexproof is more powerful because it's the same thing, but you can actually put stuff on Hexproof, on your Hexproof creature. Whoa, we got Armageddon! I used to think First Strike still worked when creatures fight due to spells like Prey Upon. I used to think First Strike still worked when creatures fight. Oh yeah, me too! Me too! I don't remember when I learned this, but target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. I just saw it as it's like a mini combat step. Because they're fighting. They're basically attacking each other. Like, why wouldn't First Strike work in this case? Like, I got this sword for First Strike. That basically means I'm going to hit you first. Like, why wouldn't it work in this situation? I think First Strike should work at any point. Like, that's the more intuitive thing. That would also make cards like Prey Upon like a little bit more playable, but maybe would make them broken and limited. Completely broken. This reminds me of another thing with First Strike. I thought... This is not a big deal, but I thought the First Strike happened actually after the combat damage step. I thought everyone dealt their damage simultaneously, and then there was just one extra damage step afterwards for First Strike. But instead, First Strike actually deals its damage first. Dick again. Ivory Mask is Shroud. Ivory Mask. Witchbane Orb is Hexproof. Witchbane is better to have. You can't be the target of spells or abilities. Yeah, you have Shroud. Is there more update? No, none of them say Shroud. Josh! For a while, I used to think I played a card wrong when I was younger. Turns out Venomous Fangs doesn't say combat damage. Venomous Fangs. What does it say? Red 2 generic. Whenever enchanted creature successfully deals damage to a creature, destroy that creature. Oh, right. You know, okay, so like, yeah, this is that whole thing where if you put like a Basilisk Collar on any creature that can ping, it will technically give that ping Deathtouch. You just deal 1 point of damage and it dies. That's why Basilisk Collar is worth so much money. Basil Collar? Is that how you spell it? Yeah, this is it. I want the original one. Equipped creature has Deathtouch and Lifelink. It's like a big staple, I guess, in Commander. I think you can't go out. You can't leave your house without a Basilisk Collar. Put on them pingers. We got the Blue Bomber! My friend claimed since they had a Witchbane Orb in play, their spells can't be countered. Oh god. When Witchbane Orb enters the battlefield, destroy all curses, you have Hexproof. That means you can't target my spells, they said. That's broken. That's really broken. Nothing can be countered, nothing can be targeted. They might as well said, like, so long as I have stuff on the stack, you can't do anything about it. Burning Paper Sun. We've got... I didn't know Selvala's Heart of the Wild first ability counted the entire battlefield and not only my battlefield. Selvala. Heart of the Wild. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than Each other creature's power. Yeah, so basically any creature. This triggers for anything. If it specifically said your stuff, yes. But it's everybody's. Your creatures, everybody's creatures. Dr. Magulus. I was recently playing EDH with someone and they claimed Caged Sun's mana doubling only works on lands with a printed mana ability. He tried to claim it didn't work on basics? What's Caged Sun? As Caged Sun enters the battlefield, choose a color. Creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+1. Whenever a land's ability causes you to add one or more mana of the chosen color, add one additional mana of the chosen color. Oh, because lands don't have like that tap ability on it, right? Or not anymore at least. So if we look at it like an island, it doesn't have like the tap symbol, hence there's like no ability attached to it. I sort of see where they're coming at, but what you could do is show them an old one. Where's an old? Let's find an old basic island. Oh man, how far do we have to go? It used to say tap. Oh man, I might be doing this for forever. They have so many basic islands. So many islands. I'm going on for forever. Okay, I'm just gonna look up beta basic island. There we go. We're gonna see it here. See? Tap to add a blue to your mana pool. That's the OG errata. Is there actually text? Is there a... There, that's actually the Oracle text here. Let me look at the Oracle text here. There we go. Tap, add a blue. There we go. There's actual Oracle text. Because it's not... It is not... Apparently, it's not obvious just by looking at the card. Who would actually play that card against their friend if it actually did that? Huh. Okay, and Andrakek, we've got first time I read Teferi Time Raveler passive, I thought you can only play any spell if you reveal a sorcery from your hand. Oh my god. Teferi Time Raveler. That's actually a really cute misinterpretation of the card. Each opponent can only cast spells only any time they could cast a sorcery. So like what only sorcery is allowed? You can only play any sorcery if you reveal... Or I thought you can only play any spell if you reveal a sorcery from your hand. Each opponent can cast spells only any time they could cast a sorcery. So basically you gotta... So the way you looked at it is that you show the sorcery and then you play your creature. Or show a sorcery. So you can only play spells anytime you could show a sorcery? That is such a weird misinterpretation. We got David Riker. For the longest time, I was convinced that you started the game with 5 cards, not 7. Who taught Magic to you? Oh my god. Or was that because of Hearthstone? I think Hearthstone starts with 5 cards. So anyone who started learning the game like relatively recently might have thought the same way. Maybe that's how Magic should be played. 7 cards is too many cards. Can you channel Ottawa in response to Crow's Grip? Nope, you can't. You cannot. That puts something on the stack. You basically can't do anything on the stack when a split second spell is on the stack. It says it on the card. You can't activate abilities or do nothing. Stuff can trigger, but nothing. You can't do anything in response. We got Sean here. Having started in Alliances, the next new set was Mirage, and one of my friends thought he could cast a Final Fortune on me. I let it resolve, holding back my force, and I then explained, and he lost. Oh! So Final Fortune, red. Take an extra turn after this one. At the end of that turn, you lose the game. Okay, Final Fortune, target you. I'm giving you an extra turn. And at the end of the turn, at the end of that extra turn, you lose the game. What, they thought that this is just like the I win card? It's the same thing as that, like, that black X spell where you pay X life. Wow, this card can win the game by itself. that might be like another show that we could do. Cards that we thought won the game by itself. Approaching Calamity, thank you so much for the super chat. The secret lair full rules lands? Oh yeah, if you need to know specifically how the let's look up secret lair basic island Scryfall. Can we find this? Oh, that's not it. Rules. There it is. There it is. So you could have this as oracle text to show your friend if they don't understand how the rules to Basic Island work. This card's name is Island. Basic is its super type, land is its card type, and Island is its subtype. Anyway, you can pause the video and read this thing if you really want to. Chris Kiger, how people think cycling and morph are activated abilities when they're special actions. To be honest, Chris, I think I still understand that. Cycling and morph are activated abilities when they're special actions. So you cannot... So you can Nimble Obstructionist the with Crows and Grip on the stack, is what you're telling me. To be honest, I didn't know either. How often do I play with cycling creatures? Or cycling anything? So we go back to Nimble Obstructionist. Some judges out there are giving me heck right now. So what you're telling me is I can cycle with a Crows and Grip on the stack? Or is a special action still considered an activated? Like, you're telling me that, yeah, we need a judge. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna look up. Can I cycle with split second on the stack? That's basically what I'm doing. Can I cycle with split second? Judge, get the judges. We need judge. Well, I'm assuming cycling is an activated ability, but I don't know that. You can only take special actions while split second is on the stack, and then only if they are legal actions. Special actions 1 point. Oh my goodness! Cycling does not use the stack. Well, unless I'm using what's it called? Nimble Obstructionist. Okay, the person who super chatted earlier today was right. They're completely right. Okay, well I didn't need to be a noob to misunderstand how this works. I can be basically a, you know, top 8 competitive Magic the Gathering player and not know how this works. Although to be fair, there's a lot of rules I don't know in Magic the Gathering. Very rarely do I play with cycling cards. Very rarely do I play with split second cards, and do I want to interact with both of them? Cycling does use the stack. Yeah, but at least what's it called? Crows and Grip. Crows and Grip. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. But if cycling is not an ability, activated ability, which I actually thought it was, and it's a special action. Huh? Cycling is an activated ability. It's not a special action. Okay, hold on. Is cycling an activated ability? Cycling is an activated ability that functions only while the card with cycling is in a player's hand. Cycling costs... Okay, we got Skylar. Cycling is an activated ability that functions only while the card with cycling is in a player's hand. Okay, so it is. So hold on, what was this original question that we were looking at? How did I find this? How did this whole lore come up? Okay, so we cannot cycle when there is a Crows and Grip in play. Let's just be clear about this. We cannot cycle while the Crows and Grip is in play. It is not a special action. You guys are confusing the rule. You know, I'm gonna have shows like this, and I'm gonna walk away knowing the rules worse than when I came into the show. All right, we got a ton of super chats we have to get through. Okay, what do we got here? We've got, what was the last one? We've got Connor. We have Connor with, I played so many lands with Courser of Kruphix. Oh, God. Courser of Kruphix. Basically, you just put unlimited number of lands in play. Green, green, 1 generic, 2/4. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You can play the top card of your library if it's a land card. Oh, it's a land card. Oh, it's another land card. Oh, it's another land card. Just basically empty your library full of lands. That makes Courser of Kruphix so broken. So broken. All right, we got Frosty Complete. We didn't know how Planeswalkers worked. The rules only said once per turn, so we activated them on each other turns too? Oh, God. So what was the first one? Like, Jace. I don't know. What's the first Jace? Jace Bellerin. There we go, Jace Bellerin. I want the real Jace Bellerin. You also can morph as a special action in response to Split Second. All right, you can morph in, apparently you can morph in response to Split Second. All right, that's good to know. That's considered a special action. So with Jace Bellerin, you could basically -1, draw a card, -1, draw a card, -1, draw a card. Draw a card on my turn, draw a card on your turn. It's basically 3 mana for 3 cards. That's actually pretty good. Actually, it can get even worse. You can go -1 on your turn, +2 on your opponent's turn, then -1 again on another player's turn. Oh my God, this is ridiculously broken if you play it like that. To be fair, once you know the rules to Planeswalkers, it's easy, but if you don't know the rules, they make absolutely no sense. We got 333, Floodstrand Onslaught, and Skycloud Expanse Odyssey. Hold on, I just need to switch up the music a little bit. Floodstrand and Skycloud. Floodstrand. Oh, yeah, we flooded Strand, I'm assuming. And Skycloud Expanse. What about it? Made me confused. They have a similar art and was legal at the same time. Oh, you thought it was the same card? Here. So, oh, I see. Yeah, they were printed at the same time. Skycloud Expanse. Flooded Strand, but the Onslaught Flooded Strand. And then Skycloud Expanse. So you just thought it was the same thing? And the art is so similar. You'd be like, okay, Skycloud Expanse, crack it, go fetch a land out of my deck. Thank you very much for the super chat, 333. We got Dial. I was playing a Hinata deck and I just sent a Comet Storm on top of everything. Turns out Ward is not like Hexproof. It actually counters. That's correct. It actually counters it. So you had a Hinata deck. The hell is Hinata? Okay, we got Flying Trample. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target. And sent a Comet Storm on top of everything. Which is red, multi-kicker 1. Choose any target, then choose another target for each time the spell was kicked. Comet Storm deals X damage to each of them. So what, you thought you could blow everything up? And I just sent a Comet Storm on top of everything. Turns out Ward is not like Hexproof. It actually counters. So I don't understand. I think you put like multiple instances of the same thing. Hinata deck. I guess I don't know what you were up against. Not exactly sure where the problem here was, to be honest. I understand your confusion, though. We got Jessica. Nykthos Paragon and Cradle of Vitality. Nykthos Paragon and Cradle of Vitality. Cradle of Vitality. Hold on, and then before we get to this one, Vitality. He targeted a ward creature, and it countered the spell for all targets. Oh! Boom! Right. Right. So you hit 1 ward, it counters everything. Hinata makes the multi-kicker free, so targeted everything and targeted something that had ward, wouldn't pay the ward, and everything was countered. Boom. Well, that sucks. Yeah, I'm just not gonna pay this thing. Oh, wait, I lose everything, don't I? And then what was the thing with the it's because I sacrificed my filter land. It seems like fetch land from the art. Ah, I got it. Yeah, you thought the, what's it called, the Sky Cloud Expanse needed to be fetched just like the other one. Okay, we got Nykthos Paragon and Cradle of Vitality. Didn't pick up on the add +1/+1 for each life gained. Did myself a big disservice considering I threw myself at anything life gained soon as I started playing. So what does this thing do? What do they actually do? Nykthos Paragon. Whenever you gain life, you may put that many counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. Cradle of Vitality. Whenever you gain life, you can pay a white and 1 generic. If you do, put a counter on target creature for each 1 life you gained. So, didn't pick up on the add a +1/+1 counter for each life gained. Did myself a big... Oh, you didn't get your counters! You didn't get your count... threw myself a... did myself a big disservice considering I threw myself at anything life gain soon as I started playing. You didn't take... Whenever you gain life, you may pay a white and 1 generic. If you do, put that many counters on target creature for each 1 life that you gained. That'd be crazy. Whenever you gain life, you may put that many +1. Actually, I don't understand. What is the interpretation here? I thought it just added a single... Ah, okay, so you didn't get your extra counters. Oh, yes. You get the counters for everything. It's too bad. Big oof. Big oof. Okay, I'm just making sure there was like a flood of super chats a little bit a while ago. I don't think I missed any, right? I don't think I missed any. Okay, we'll do one more. What do we got here? Conman AU. I originally thought you had to tap blocking creatures. It let my opponent catch my Sarah Angel in a can't untap trap. I thought you had to tap blocking creatures. So you like block and then tap. It let my opponent catch my Sarah Angel in a can't untap. Sarah Angel. That makes some sense. To tap the blocking creature. Almost feels like you're using up the energy. And besides, like, what are you going to do with the creature anyway? It let my opponent catch my Sarah Angel in a can't untap trap. I don't get that, though. Oh, so, like... What, if you like block with the creature, you have to tap and you're not allowed to untap with it next turn? Flying and vigilance. Tapping does not, or what does the original Sarah Angel say? Does not tap when attacking. So what, like it just never untapped before? Can't untap trap, well, your friend is a pro manipulator. Weird thing. Alright, excellent. Well, that was a fun one, wasn't it? Well, thank you very much for joining me. And if you want to be part of the show, everyone, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much, everyone, for your super chats. And for everyone who's members on YouTube or patrons on Patreon, if you want to support the channel, you can do that in the description below. And when you do that, I'm always here because I have you guys love the show so much. You support it so much. I'm here every morning for all of you. But most importantly, thank you guys for being here in the morning because without all of you guys, I'm screwed. I would have no show. I don't know. I only have so many rules that I misinterpreted when I was a kid. What also is funny is how confused we get also when we do these shows because people are like, I used to think the rules were like this, but really it's that. And then I'm like, is it really like that? And then we have to, I'm going to get so many comments in the comments section about people saying, no, that's not actually how the rules work, Nikachu. We're going to learn a lot about cycling. We need a comprehensive rulebook on cycling and special abilities and morph and all that other stuff. Well, anyway, so as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up those coffees and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves and I will see